This is the 10th attempt at making this video, and every time I'd be like, hi guys, hello, and it just didn't seem right. So, you know what, I've just said, fuck it. I'm going to put this one out, and it is what it is. And I'm not editing this video, just cutting a little bit out at the start. Not editing this video because I want it to be raw, and I want it to just be what it is. You know, if I make a mistake, fuck it, it's a mistake. So I've got a wee list in front of me of what I want to get through. Might not be in that precise order, might come out wrong, might struggle to read my own handwriting, but fuck it. So an introduction to myself. Why am I making this video in the first place, right? So I'm making this video because I'm planning on making a few videos along my journey. And it's a journey to be a better man, a better husband, a better father, a better friend, a better person, a better human being. Now, I wouldn't say everything about my old self was horrible, but my mindset was horrible. It has been horrible. And it's not as bad as where it was prior to 2020, when I had my wake-up call in March. I'll tell you more about that later. But it's still been horrible. You know, so I'm quite a stubborn person, or I was quite a stubborn person. And, you know, whether it be at work or personal life, you know, if someone said that this looks better in blue, I would say no, it looks better in red. You know, even though it was supposed to be a blue screen, you know, something like that. You know, something stupid. You know, even more recently, the COVID rules. You know, like in my mind, the rules seem okay, or they did seem okay, and I never understood why other people couldn't get it into their head. Now, more recently, I've been able to look inside myself and my compassion, something that I didn't have before, and think maybe they're on the edge of, you know, depression. Maybe whether to put a mask up correctly might be on the front of my mind when I go into a shop, but to them maybe the dad just died or something like that, and that's the last thing they're going to be thinking of. So just an example, you know. Whereas before my journey, I'd be like, how hard is it to wear a fucking mask? Or your nose keeps coming out, for fuck's sake, how hard is it? You know? So, what made me miserable pre-2020 and my time away in Glasgow in March? So, this is going to be a raw, open video, and I'm making this for myself, but you know, if other people want to see it, if other people relate to it and want to start their own journey and follow my advice and my recommendations on my books that I've been reading, then that's great. But my story, right? So I've always been an easygoing person. I have had like stubbornness my whole life. Never had a father figure in my life until I met my wife's father, my father-in-law. And you know, so I wouldn't count my dad. Never had him properly in my life, although he was there, but he wasn't there, if you get what I mean. So I've been a stubborn person, but an easygoing person. But in 2018, got married to my beautiful wife. You know, she's my absolute everything, and it was the best day of my life. But I also say it was the worst day of my life. Now, I say it was the worst day of my life because not a lot of my friends turned up. Well, I say my friends, but my old school friends and stuff like that, they all came out with one excuse or another. And the only person who showed up from my side was my parents. Well, my mum and my sperm donor. And my niece and my best man, Ryan. And that was kind of the only people on my side. And a lovely wee woman from the hospital where I worked at the time made the effort to come down. But, you know, on the day, fuck it, that was nothing. I didn't even think about that. I was just, you know, focused on the wedding itself and doing what I've been wanting to do for a long time and marry the love of my life. And my 3 kids were there, you know, 2 of them old enough to understand what was going on. Marrying into a good family, and you know, everything. It was lovely, absolutely lovely. It was only afterwards when I thought back and thought, when we looked at the pictures, you could see all of Sarah's friends and family, and you know, I was looking like going, all right, and that guest list's kind of, and I'm so glad seeing the church when everyone sat together. I'm so glad it wasn't one side and the other side, because that would have been, what, 3 people sitting on this side, you know. But yeah, I was looking back and I thought, do you know what, fuck it, people have really hurt me here, and they've hurt me, and from this moment onwards, you know, a few weeks after or a few months after the wedding, I'm like, from this moment onwards, fuck it. People fucked me over, so I'm not going to give a shit about anyone else except my family, my immediate family. That's it. So it caused me to be quite withdrawn and stubborn, and I'd see people going out to the pub with their friends and work, you know, people talking about meeting up on the weekends and looking past me, and you know, and it hurt. It did. It hurt me. But I just thought, you know, whatever, get on with it, get on with life. And that caused my depression to come in, and my stubbornness, and although I've always been a provider for my family, my wife works, she's an amazing carer, a care worker, but when we got married, my son had just been born, so she wasn't, so I was, you know, I was a provider of the family and stuff, so, but as far as looking after the kids, I was there, I did the fun stuff, but it would always be my wife who would do the groundwork, you know, putting them to school, getting them dressed in the morning, getting them ready, all that kind of stuff. And so, you know, I wasn't the best. And when she'd ask me to do stuff, I'd get annoyed. I'd go, I'm working all this overtime. That's my free pass. I work overtime. I've been working 5 12-hour shifts in a row. Or I've worked 30 days in a row. You know what? I don't need to do this. Mindset. It's horrible, stupid. 2018 at the time, at 2019, stupid mindset. So in March, it came to a point where we had a really bad argument one day, just really bad about it. And you know what? I said horrible stuff. I was like, no, just said horrible stuff. And she said, you know what? Fuck it, I've had enough. You want to walk out the door? You go out the door. So I did. I packed my stuff and I went to Glasgow, and I stayed at a hostel for 4 days, you know, and those 4 days were honestly a spiritual journey for me. Was it shit that I just walked out and left my wife and my kids to be here and worry about where I was and stuff like that? Yes. Was it needed? Yes. Didn't go about it the right way, but I went away. And one of the things we'd argue about is I spend too much time on my phone. Fully agree with that. So on this spiritual journey, I knew that I needed to wake up. So I put the phone down, only used it when I needed it. For text, turned the internet off. And I bought a few self-help books. One of them was called Addicted to My Phone, Breaking the Phone Addiction. Great read. I read it in that weekend, and so many stuff I related to, and so many stuff it helps. It gives you a wee set list of stuff that you can do to help yourself, and I did it, and I made a lot of progress. I kind of slipped in recent months, but not to the point where it's stopped me from helping out around the house or doing something that I should be doing. Another one was called I Used to Be Miserable as Fuck, by John Kim. Amazing writer, and it's his story about how when he was married and he got divorced because, you know, it's like myself, you know, he had this mindset, he thought the world worked this way, and then he got divorced, hit his rock bottom, and then started to look at, shit, you know what, my way might not have been the only way, and some of the stuff is really helpful. I read it through that weekend, and I've just recently read it through again, just to give myself a refresher. In recent months, I've not been bad in recent months, to the point as where I was before, but I just needed a wee kick up the arse. A kick up the arse again. And I think I've got it. You know, not so much with my wife this time, because we've been getting on great since my awakening. But just Facebook seems to be my triggering point. You know, it's horrible, and I'm sure if any of my friends are watching this from work and from my past life and everything like that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Just, there's a lot of things that I do. I'm a wind-up, right? I'm a wind-up. Some things is a complete joke, you know, like anytime I post about Rangers, something like that, you know, it's a joke. I don't take football seriously. You know, I'm a Man United fan, I'm a Celtic fan, but I don't take it. It's not life and death for me. I can have a joke about it, and sometimes it might look like I'm being what you call it, a diehard fan, and you know, a sour grape. But I'm not. I'm just taking a piss. But there is other things, like the arguments about the COVID rules and all that stuff. You know, some of them they start off joking, but they do get serious, and I'll admit that. But I see things on Facebook. I'm on Facebook all the time. I see things. I see people doing stuff that I don't agree with, parties and stuff like that. And although that is wrong, and it's okay to disagree with it, but maybe I don't, because I comment on everything. And that's the thing why I'm awakening again. And I've removed my Facebook for the last few days now, and I felt fucking brilliant for it. But I don't need to comment on everything. You don't need to comment on stuff. See, when you're walking down the street, and you see a group of like 20-year-olds or something like that come out of a pub, you wouldn't go up to them and go, "Oh, you're being a bit loud." You know, it's the middle of the day, you've been a bit loud, you know, "I don't like this, I don't like it, can you stop?" You know, you wouldn't say that. But whereas if you're on Facebook and you see like bearing in mind COVID, "Oh, I've just had 20 mates round," or something like that. On Facebook, you're behind a computer, so you just go, "Fucking wankers," or something like that, you know, "Stupid idiots." And it is a line though, you know, COVID is a hard one. I don't want to get too far off subject here, but I mean, there is like, no, just respect the way other people are doing stuff and all that, that's fair. But then it kind of affects you as well. So the way I'm going forward with it is just, I'm going to keep myself right, my family, we're going to do stuff like what we consider the right way. If other people do stuff their way, that's on them. All we can do is just avoid their way as much as possible, but I'm not going to argue about it anymore. I'm done arguing, I'm done getting wound up with stuff, I'm done commenting on stuff. So, realisation that not only do I need to change, but I want to change. So, before March 2020, when I had my awakening, I'd had lots of wee bits after arguments with Sarah, or arguments on Facebook when I've said, "Fucking hell, man, I need to change, man." And I've maybe gone off Facebook for a day, or brought home flowers, something like that, you know. But I've not, the only reason I've done that is because I've gone like, you know what, I want to make these people happy, so I should change. But, and even my awakening, to a point when I came back from them 4 days, I did everything the right way, helped out much more. But part of that was I wanted Sarah to be happy. You know, I wanted to make my wife happy. I thought that's what would make her happy, and it did. You know, it was the things she wanted me to do. But I was doing them for her, and that's why it kind of maybe slipped a bit. So now that I've read this book again, and I've read some other self-help books as well, and paragraphs on Facebook, of all places, and other stuff on the internet, and videos, I want to do stuff, you know, like my kids. They're a great age, you know, I love it. I've just recently changed job, and because my old job I'd come home and they'd all be in bed. Now I come home and it's, you know, the kids are just coming out of school. My wee boy runs up to me, gives me a hug. I love that. And you know what, like tonight, I brought them aside and I told each and every one of them individually, like, "I love you so much." And just being able to do that it's amazing. And you know what, I'm not doing it, you know, I know I'm making a video when I'm saying what I've done, but do you know, there's other intimate moments like that where I do it for us in that moment because I want to do it. So I've put my worries here, but I've kind of gone through everything and what other people might think. So I'm going to make a few more videos. My next few videos won't be as long, and they're going to be on individual topics. But my worries, or whatever what they were, is just the way things, like driving, right? So John came in his book, he puts this one, and this is an amazing thing that I never thought about before. So when I'm in the car, I know I've got a tiny bit of road rage. It's not bad. It's not bad. It has been bad in the past, but like cyclists, you know, I'm like, fucking cyclist, I need to get space, bastards. Or people driving, I'm like, bloody idiot, like an idiot. And he says in his book, he's like, have you ever been a passenger when someone's been like that? And you know what? It made me think, aye, it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. You're sitting there, you're like, that wasn't that bad. It's just a cyclist. Wait 10 seconds, you're going to get an opening. It's just about to get straight and there's no cars coming. But when you're stressing out, when you're the driver, you don't see that. You just see like, I want to go now. But it's horrible and it's exhausting. When you get to your destination, you feel like you've been through a workout. You feel like it's horrible. It's just, you know, like this person has sucked all of the positive energy out of the room and it's been a really negative drive. And that's where it's like when I'm moaning, you know, when I'm moaning about stuff. And that's one of the things that I'm planning on changing going forward. You know, I'm not going to moan about. I've just changed job. You know, my last job was, although I loved a lot of people in there, and you know, I wouldn't say I hated anyone. I didn't. You know, even when I was an asshole, I didn't hate anyone. I disagreed with people, really disagreed with how they did stuff, and it made me not like that person or people, and not like the way they did that, and we just didn't talk and we didn't click. But going into this new job, been there a month now, and it's so fucking brilliant to have this weight lifted off your shoulder. You know, I sit back and I'm new into the job, so I'm not gonna come in and go like, oh, we should do it this way, we should do that. You know, it's like you can just sit back and go like, right, if what you ever say, if that's what we're doing, that's what we're doing. You know, and because I am the new guy and these people have been there for years, it's like if whatever we've done has not been enough that day, if it's not great, it's not on me, and which is brilliant. Although you should take initiatives. I'm not saying that, you know, if you're in a workplace and you've got that mindset like, I want to go, then you should. I want to do this, then you should. But don't get disappointed because this person isn't doing it. You know, like, just for an example, I don't work in a shop, but say you worked in a shop and you were stacking shelves, and it's like the manager said, once you stack these shelves, you can go. And there's two of you. You start stacking your shelves, and this person sits there on his phone. It's annoying. It is annoying. But, and you can say to him, you can say, oh, come on, let's get this done. So he does, but he's doing this. On his phone, putting it away, slowly. You know, it's annoying, but at the end of the day, you know, providing you've not got any terminal illnesses, you're going to be on this earth for thousands of hours, right? Thousands of hours. And I'm using hours because it's thousands, right? What's an hour? One single hour for peace of mind. You know, you could blow up in this guy's face. You could say, for fuck's sake, put your phone down, fucking get on, right? And you'd get it done in half an hour. You've saved half an hour. But what you've lost is for however long you work with this guy after that, he's going to think you're an asshole. You know, you can still think he's an asshole, but you don't need to communicate it. You can just think like, oh, it was shit what he did that other night. But, you know, and they might not be on a spiritual awakening journey, so they might make life difficult for you. You know, there might be times when you need to get a box and it needs 2 people, he sees that and he walks away. Whereas if you're just nice about things, they'll come up to you maybe and just go, "Do you want a hand?" You know, it's not worth falling out with. As I say, nothing wrong at all with saying like, "Oh, could you put down your phone and help us a bit?" Or something like that. You know, just do that. That's fine. If they're doing it slower, that's fine as well. If everyone was the same, if everyone had the same work ethic, I mean, it could be a really great world, you know, if everyone was good. But as well, though, you're never going to progress. You know, if everyone's working the same speed as you, and if everyone has the same mindset as you, and everyone's doing the same thing as you, and there's 20 people in this store, why are you going to get made manager? You know? And let's say you do get made manager, and that guy is going to remember that you're sound. He's going to remember. You know, of course, when you're in a management role, you can be a bit more like, "Phones away, please." But he's going to respect you. And I've worked a lot of jobs. A lot of jobs. I've done everything you can imagine. I'm a gardener at the minute. You know, grounds and waste. I've worked in hospitals. I've worked in factories, casinos, bookies, absolutely, cafes, everything. And what I found is, if the work people, if your workers, if they respect you, then they're going to do a lot more for you. You know, they might not break the back for you, but then they're not going to do the bare minimum. Whereas if they think you're an arsehole and you've said, go clean that hallway right now, then they'll go clean the hallway because you've asked them and you're the manager. But see if they notice a room next door has a wee bit of stuff in the doorway, they're going to think, "Well, you asked me to clean the hallway, you didn't ask me to clean that." Whereas if they respect you, then they're going to say like, "Right, I've got the brush and shovel here. I mean, I'll just brush it up." So sorry for this long-winded video, but this is me, and I think what's different to my other videos, hopefully you'll agree, is I felt so more comfortable doing this one. I don't care it's long. I don't care if anyone's going to watch it. I don't care what's going to happen with it. I hope people do watch it, and I hope it helps people. I hope other people think, you know, maybe I need to wake up as well. And if you're ready to take that step, I've got a lot of book recommendations for you. The one that I'm reading now, can't remember the author, but it's called Dad, Don't Give Up on Us. And, you know, not that I was ever planning to give up on my kids, but one example, right? Just one quick example. I'll try to keep this below 25 minutes, right? That's reasonable. So, growing up, my dad was there, as I said, but he was an arsehole. You know, if I was on the sofa over there, I'm him, right? Coughing, like, shh! You know, if I'm walking on eggshells. If I'm playing upstairs and I'm a bit loud, it's like, "Shh! Stop it! Stop making all that noise!" You know, and that's something that's resonated with me. Not as bad, nowhere near as bad, but it's like, if my kids are shouting, I'll say like, "Come on, shh, neighbours." You know, even though the 2-year-old and my neighbours are my in-laws, I'm sure they'll understand. You know, when I'm in shops, I don't like, or I didn't like, you know, I know COVID and all that, but bear with me here, before COVID, if they're touching things, you know what, fuck it, touch things. As long as we don't steal it and don't break it and you put it back, then that's fine. You know, 2 minutes longer. Instead of walking up the aisle, I've got to walk a little bit slower now and just, you know, I'll let my kids look at stuff. And that's why I'm reading this book. A fathering book, because I really want to get that, and I want to get, I feel like my kids can come to me and tell me anything. My oldest daughter, who's nearly 10, she tells me everything, and I like that, and that's something that I never had when I was a kid, even with my mother. You know, I love my mum, but I'm not the kind of person who'd pick up the phone and have a heart-to-heart kind of thing, whereas I want to be the person my kids would come to. And my wife's like that as well, so to have 2 people, brilliant. But yeah, 25 minutes. Right, so see you in the next one.